For me, is a
Good morning, all listeners. We are here live again at Bedford Camera.
Oh, we're live. Okay.
Yeah, we're live.
Time to wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome, James. Thank you so much for that humor this morning.
Did you guys see that? I don't know if you saw that or not.
It's live on the video.
He's really quick.
He's quick, but it was on there, right?
Yeah, I don't know. That's up to Jeff. So we're here at we're here with James Pratt.
James Pratt
At Bedford Camera.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great.
We're going to talk to James here about a little bit of business and some stuff he's working on.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, some of the editorial projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit about how to do some editorial.
Cool. So
How to get published.
Oh, yeah, how to get published.
cool.
Without having to buy your own ad.
We've had James on several times.
Yeah, it has
he's been a
been. It's
good
been fun.
guest. So
Yes, because he's available a lot. Well, that's not true, because we had to actually move the podcast to Wednesday
we did.
so we could get Mr. James Pratt.
I'm interviewing a guy tomorrow that has a really, really cool 67 Camaro. Ooh, it's so nice.
That's the first generation, isn't
what
it?
color?
Yeah, it's yellow with black racing stripes.
Ooh, it's
Totally
the
restored.
Bumblebee.
Yeah, it's nice.
Nice. Okay, so James, tell us a little bit about just business in general, because the three of us actually have different workflows or different things that we shoot.
And incomes.
Right.
And income, right? So so can you talk just general, as in any kind of tips or?
Yeah, well, I'm different than I belong to MPPA and some other organizations, but my work is so much different than everybody else's. I have a hard time, picking up from some of what they do, because my work is really editorial. I do a lot of editorial photography, and I do quite a bit, some commercial, mostly editorial, because I really enjoy it. I love telling the stories, and so
A little bit more creative for you.
No, it's creative, but it's just, wedding photography is creative too, but mine's just a lot more. I get to tell stories, and it's all about the people I'm telling the stories about. So I get to do these really fun, cool things. I mean, the pay is not awesome. I think you're going to make more money as a wedding photographer, but I get to have a lot of fun doing what
We
I
have
do.
a lot of fun, too. And I'm not sure we story tell very much. I know that all
Sure
the
you do.
wedding photographers out there talk about that. We're documentation photographers.
Yeah.
We do get a little creative sometimes, but most of the times we are a photojournalist, for lack of a better word. We just stand there till something happens in front of the camera and we click it.
Well, James, you're creative. You're creating as you're going and telling the story. You're thinking about how you're going to shoot that photo. So you're creative.
You got to tell a story, because that's what I learned a long time ago is editors don't buy pictures. I figured that out a long time ago. They buy stories, and so they want a story, and so you've got to tell a story. And that story, I pitch ideas to editors all the time. If I didn't, I wouldn't have any work. So I'm always coming up. I got a whole list of ideas. I constantly write down on my iPhone. And then I will pitch it to various publications. So I find, I'll try to figure out a publication that covers something I want to do, whether it's riding horses or riding motorcycles or flying airplanes, whatever I really enjoy doing. Then I try to go find publications that write stories that need stories. They're always needing stories about those. And when I first started, I couldn't find anybody to do it, so I just published my own magazine.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because that was pretty awesome. Ride Oklahoma, right?
Yeah. I couldn't. Back then I didn't know what I was doing, and that was back in 2007, and I didn't know how to get published. I'd submitted a few pictures, nobody took them up, and so I said, well, I'm just gonna make my own damn magazine. So I
You're
can
still
do
doing
it.
that, right?
No, I do the
okay.
website. It's a pretty popular website.
yeah.
But the
Right.
magazine, I figured out it's really not. I thought running a magazine was all about the stories and the pictures and all that kind of cool stuff. No, it's all about advertising, selling advertising. If you can't sell advertising or don't want to sell advertising, that's your job is to sell advertising. And I didn't like doing that. So I ended up, after a couple of years, I said, well, I don't want to be an advertisement salesman. I want to be a storyteller.
Yeah, and so a lot of that stuff's online anyway. I mean, I hate to say that, but that's
What do you, I'm not sure what you mean by.
Well, I mean, a lot of the magazine, the print part of it.
Yeah, a lot of magazines are moving to web, but they're still. I mean, the magazines still pay a lot better than web. Web is getting better at pay, especially the real heavily used websites, and but they're better than they used to be for sure. But the printed magazines are still the ones that pay the best, and I don't like to do stuff that doesn't pay. So,
well, I was mainly talking about just the readers. A lot of people
readers.
reading online.
That's
I
true.
guess.
That's
I
true.
mean,
A lot of people.
I know I do.
I do. Yeah, me too. I very seldom pick up a magazine. Personally, I write for a lot of them.
Yeah.
I read on my iPad or something.
Right.
I'm the same way. A heavy iPad reader.
Yeah.
So on the magazine, it's kind of amazing you have time to do this website. I mean, is this thing like running by itself? Do you have helpers?
No, it's just me, and I mean, it's not. I don't. It's just I post stuff every now and then to it. I write, so I'll whip out some type of deal and post it up my website. And I do make money from advertising on it. I have Google. I monetize it with Google. Was it AdSense or AdWords?
Yeah, one of those two little programs.
AdWords,
they
I
have.
think it is.
Yeah.
And last year I made $100.
Cool.
And I just got a check the other day for a payment for $100 this year.
That's awesome.
So I made $200 in 2 years off my website.
I've made barely a little bit more on micro stock. I think it's like $250.
But on stock,
No,
stock I make quite a bit more money. Stock photos.
Well, that's because you're doing regular stock.
Yeah.
So
I don't do microstock yet.
Yeah.
I can sell one picture for
For
$500.
more,
Yeah.
it's for more than I can make in one year on an image.
Yeah. I just sold some pictures I'm getting about $3,000 for 3 pictures for an ad campaign that's running, and there are pictures of some stuff in Oklahoma around the state.
Wow.
So,
Well, you know what? Just since we broached that subject, let's talk about that because James is still doing commercial photography. What I consider to be the way it was always meant to be, which is licensing your image,
absolutely,
versus
Yeah.
just shooting and burning and giving the client a CD.
absolutely, yeah.
And that's the way commercial has always been. But once
And I think it's still that way. I don't think anybody that doesn't do it is crazy, personally. I mean, I always license my image. I own every copyright of every photo I've ever taken. I maintain the copyright, and I just license them out for people to use and charge them a fee. And, some people don't like that. I don't work for those. I work for the ones that do, that appreciate it. And
but you're still paid for the shoot.
I paid, the way I work it, I usually, it depends on, it's commercial or editorial, depends on what you're doing. But the commercial stuff, I'll usually go out and I charge them a fee for the shoot.
Your creative fee, I guess.
Creative
yeah.
fee, yeah, like a day rate or something. It's usually anywhere from $600 to $800, maybe $1,000 a day. Depends on how much work is involved and how long the day is. I charge all my expenses. I usually mark those up just a little bit to cover my cost.
Miscellaneous,
of money.
yeah.
Right. And then I charge a licensing fee to license the image after I'm done. So depending on what usage they're going to use that image for, they pay a licensing fee. It could be 2 years, 3 years for print production or for web use, whatever it might be. And that fee varies, depends on the usage. And so, and a lot of times I'll sell it again and again. But, customers, some people, a lot of unsophisticated clients, they want just to have all the images with all license. And every now and then I do that, but it costs a lot more. And I always tell them, I can do that, but it's going to cost you a lot more because I can't reuse the images.
Right.
And so, but if you don't really need all that usage, let me give you a lower package, and it costs you less. And then if later, because usually the images are, 3 years are going to need new images anyway, most times. And so they don't really, they think they need it, but they don't.
So speaking on this stuff, so what are you talking about at the PhotoCon, at the Bedford PhotoCon?
I'm not talking. I'm doing a panel discussion.
That's right.
I'm just
Okay,
on that
but
panel discussion.
You've talked about that before at a PhotoCon, where you licensing your images and copyright and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to cover a lot on copyright and a lot on licensing. And I give my quotes out all the time to other photographers, and I'll help you with pricing. If you have the same thing come up, I'll tell you what I would price it at.
Yeah, I've actually asked you before for that stuff.
'Cause
Yeah.
I think our one problem I see with photography is, especially commercial and editorial, is people are too secretive about it. You know, if you're worried about your competition, and you don't want to share that information. And it took me forever to figure out how much to charge. I still don't know exactly, but it takes a long time to figure out how to charge for this work, how to make money. And I think if we share it, if I share it with you guys, it's not that you're going to beat me out of my competition, because that's a fact of me going after my clients and servicing my clients.
Right.
Yeah.
And but it helps raise the entire boat. Rising tide raises all the ships.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we've hit that that metaphor or saying every time he's been here.
Yeah,
I still
so.
love that.
Right,
and it's
right.
very true.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
So if we just help each other out, and I'll give you my pricing, what I do, all that kind of stuff, my contracts. It just helps everybody become more professional and raises the whole boat for everybody.
Well, you've shared that stuff with me before. You've sent me contracts.
Yeah.
Have I put that in place? No, I haven't.
Thank you for being honest.
Well, I haven't done a lot of that kind of stuff though.
Yeah.
I think you're focused more on houses.
Yes.
Houses and headshots.
Yeah.
That's Jimbo's jizz.
He might even be shooting my wife's houses, because she's mad at me right now.
Oh,
Really? What happened with that? You don't want to air that out on the podcast?
no, not on the podcast, Robert.
His wife doesn't listen to the podcast.
She wants a real photographer.
Yeah. Oh man.
No, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is it we treat our friends better than we do our own family?
Yeah. I don't know.
So the editorial stuff is, it's all, like I say, it's all about, for me, it's about telling the stories. And I started my own magazine at first, and then I found I didn't really like doing that, because I like telling stories better. I like selling advertising.
Yeah.
And
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Okay.
we did start I started a worldwide magazine that went out to 23 countries. That ran for about a year and a half. We had a lot of subscribers on that, but just didn't make sense. So anyway, I started working for other magazines, but what helped me is I as an editor, I would get public stories in from other
Photographers
and
writers.
writers, and I kind of started learning what's really a good story and how to package things up to make it easy for the editor. Because I was told by an old newspaper editor, he's actually a cigar chomping guy at the Daily Oklahoman, man. He was typical what you'd think of I can't remember who it was, but he's some editor at the Daily Oklahoma about 15 years ago, and he goes, I won't cuss like he did be ago. He goes, we're lazy SOBs. If you want to make it easy for us, he goes, if you want your stuff published, you make it easy for us. So the easier you make it, the more likely you're going to get published.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
We had that class, James did a little seminar. Were you at that class? We were up in Edmond at one of the photographers' houses.
Yes. Yep.
And you actually had the whole presentation.
Yeah.
Like you had your story in there with the CD, the layouts.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, like you take it to an editor and just put it on their desk.
Yeah, it makes it easy for them to do, man. Just what you want to do is make it easy, give them a nice package. And so, so I was trying to figure out, how. That's what I started doing. I've written a lot over the years, but not stories. I used to do a lot of technical writing, and so I would team with other writers, and that's really people buying stories is what they're doing. So. They don't just buy photos. If you just send photos in, you might get a few published here and there, but usually it's going to be some type of story package. And so I would team with other writers, people that write.
Yeah.
And we would do a package story together. My buddy Bill Dragoo, he's an awesome writer. He and I did a lot of stories. We rode motorcycles, out the West Coast, and we've ridden them to the East Coast. And I've done a story where we rode from Canada to Mexico on dirt bikes, camped out for a week, things like that we'd do together. And it was really awesome photos and awesome stories to go together.
Yeah, I remember that.
So now what I've done now is I started writing a lot more of my own stories, because it's just easier. And it's easier to get published that way, because I give an editor an entire story package with my writing and my photos and all one piece.
With your package price.
Right.
It's the bundle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm working on a story right now that it's a hunting story. I went pheasant hunting in South Dakota, and all expenses paid. They picked up my tab going up there, and then when I come back, I got a lot of just awesome photos. I got the story about done, and I'm gonna get it published I'm shooting for this. There's an NRA publication. They pay about $1,500.
Cool.
So you get $1,500 for story photos, and plus I can sell it to once I sell it to them, I can sell it to other publications too.
Right, it's all licensing type thing.
Right, and you can. What you do a lot of times, I have done this more than once, is repurpose the photos for a different story.
Oh.
So you have the photos, you can just have this story, then you can go to another publication that maybe has a little different twist and sell the same photos with a different story. And so you can repurpose a lot of your work.
So on your marketing for your business, because everybody talks about so many photographers are out there, like, once they go through their friends and family of telling them you're a great photographer and take my picture, then they're having to try and find clients to pay. So I'm sure now your clients do kind of come hunt you down.
No.
No?
I have to go. I gotta go hunt them down.
You mean there's like work involved?
Yeah.
Like you're just going to put up a website and all of a sudden the phone starts ringing?
No, don't just start rolling in. I mean, I get a few of those, but
darn! I've been doing this for like 30 years. I thought that's how you did it.
You got to go. One thing I had started doing is, first off, I like to hang out with my photographer friends, but I'd figured out you guys don't buy any of my pictures.
That's right.
I've yet to sell a photo to any of you guys. I don't know why that is, because I got awesome photos. You guys don't buy them, but I don't know.
They are awesome.
They are pretty awesome. I've seen a couple of the bike shots he did at BMW, and it was sexy on wheels. Let me tell you.
If I'm going to buy a pano print or some kind of cool photo, it's going to be one of mine.
One of yours, right?
Hanging on the wall.
You're funny.
So what I started doing is I spend more time going to like AIGA meetings, or I go, which is
that's the insurance company?
No, that's the AIGA. That's the
Art Institute.
Well, not Art Institute. It's basically all the graphic designers that design advertising and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You mean like here in Oklahoma City?
Really? Did you really say that, Robert?
Really? You're going to point it out so the listeners can like...
And I do a lot on LinkedIn. I really got plugged in on LinkedIn, and I do a lot in the motorcycle industry, which is not in Oklahoma. I don't know if you know. It's not based in Oklahoma. If you're, it's Southern Cal. So if you're not SoCal, I mean, it's really hard to get work.
Yeah, isn't everything like SoCal? It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. It's really hard to get work in the motorcycle industry if you don't live in Southern California. But you have to take a little different approach. And so my approach is, all your pictures and your bike reviews and all that stuff is looks like Southern California, and most of the country is not Southern California. So how about let's do something that around here. So anyway, I started on LinkedIn and really worked it hard. I've been working hard for about 2.5, 3 years, and I've got thousands of really good contacts, both in the motorcycle industry and the publishing. The funny thing is, once you get hooked up with like a publisher, then they have other publishers, they're friends, and you start just connecting out. You start building your network.
That's how it works in business in general.
Yeah.
If you're networking and you're putting your name out there and you're working with people, your name gets spread around.
Yeah. So one thing I do is I blog a lot. I do a lot of blogging on my own website, and then I had that set up where it automatically goes to LinkedIn and to Facebook and to Twitter and all these other places. So that it looks like I'm active on all those, and so those editors and those motorcycle industry contacts, if they follow any of that, they'll see my writing. And my photos come up off my blog, and then whenever I contact them, they say, "Yeah, I heard of you," or "I've seen your stuff. That's cool."
Now, have you ever seen any marketing pieces like we used to do back in the old days?
I'm starting to do that. I have done that before, but I've been busy enough I hadn't needed to. But I'm starting to pick it back up again. I'm trying to move my clientele. A lot of my clientele is regional. I'm trying to moving it up to national level, and so what I'm doing is I recently updated all my database into, I'm using Zoho CRM.
Yes.
And I talked to you about the 17 hats, but it didn't really fit with me, and the Zoho is free, so it was perfect for me.
So what
I like free.
What is Zoho?
It's a Zoho is kind of like a Microsoft Office.
Oh, okay.
But it's but it has a CRM component. It has a spreadsheet. It has database. It has a lot of different pieces to it. It's free unless you
there's a
big. There's a floor, right?
Sure.
For individual photographers, the free works just perfect.
Right. But you wanted that mainly because of the CRM, the customer relations management type.
Yeah, right.
Correct. So I can put all my contacts, and I'll go to the Barnes & Noble, sit down on the magazine rack, and go, take pictures of the covers. And I'll go through the editorial, who's the editors, and I go Google them, find out their emails, find out where they're at on LinkedIn. I put them into my CRM, and then I can market to them from there.
Take note of that, listeners. That's good info.
That's good info. What you don't use the photographer's market book anymore?
No.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I did. I bought and paid for that. It's worthless. I also paid for Agency Access and some others like that.
A little black book, and
yeah, those are just a lot of money for.
That's a lot of money for a little black book.
Yeah.
I had an agent one time when I was in California in the military, and I was still doing some work there. Like, oh, you need to be in the book. And I'm like, the book, and he showed me this gorgeous book. I thought, oh my God, that's beautiful. And it was stupid, $9,000 for a full page ad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So I'm more into guerrilla marketing. I think the web is so much more effective than the internet. And so I gather up, I use my LinkedIn and my Google and all that stuff to gather up my editors, the people I want to contact, put them in my database, and then I connect them through LinkedIn, and then I start marketing to them. I send them emails, and I've got my wife's in the real estate business, and so we have a series of emails whenever we have a new lead that we send them these 20 emails. Just, we have different subjects, and they link back to her website.
A drip campaign.
Drip campaign. And so I'm working on a drip campaign. That's my goal for this year, is a drip campaign for my editors. So I'll have just a series of stories
Can you
already
explain
made
that more?
Well, a drip campaign is like if I got a new, I want to work for Field and Stream magazine, I can have a series of stories pre-made. So that, there are stories on my website. And so I can set up a drip campaign of, letter number 1 is an introduction. Letter number 2 is a story about duck hunting. Number 3 is about a story about the pheasant hunting. Mm-hmm. So I can have this campaign already made up in my CRM system. I get a new potential lead in that area, that market, and I can just assign that drip campaign once a month. Then they'll get that letter, very personalized just to them with their interests. Mm-hmm. That comes to them. And so once a month they hear from me.
Yeah.
So it's basically like in 17 Hats, we would call it the workflow.
Yeah,
Right.
Similar thing. And then what I'm doing as part of that is I'm creating these stories. I'm using MagCloud. You talked about the printed stuff. Mm-hmm. I've created several, I should have brought some of those, but I've created several stories in MagCloud. And so I make there we go. Oh, bump it. So I make it's kind of like a mini magazine of maybe 8 to 10 pages. And they'll have some writing in there and my photos and of course my logo and everything. And so as part of the drip campaign, it's 2 emails and one of these these mailers go to it. So it'll just in my calendar it'll pop up, says, hey, today you need to send this mailer out
to Field and Stream or whoever the case may be.
Right.
So you're setting those things up in advance.
I'm doing that now. Yeah, that's my goal for 2016 is set this drip marketing campaign up.
So that kind of reminds me of blogging, like on WordPress or whatever website you use. If you can work on, like, let's say a Sunday and do a whole bunch of blog posts.
Right.
Do it all in one day.
And
schedule them out to spit out every week or every month or whatever interval you want. That's a great idea too. I wanted to mention there's a thing called Zapier. Have you heard of that?
No, huh?
Zapier, and I just found it. There's a lot of stuff on there to do, but it's basically tasks that it does. It will automatically blog for you. It'll pull an RSS feed, which is what we're using right now on our website. We pull an RSS feed from F-stoppers, and it posts a blog post to our website.
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole bunch of stuff out there, like recipes, kind of like if this then that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But it's way more. It's robust.
I'll look into that.
Yeah, it's really
robust. Did you just use the word robust on the Fotofacts podcast?
Anyway, so I have to ignore that.
Robust.
So you got to check it out. It's really good. There's a lot of things on there that you can do. I wish I could remember some more things, but it's
well,
it's robust.
It's robust.
Sometimes it's just a matter of we all get so busy with a daily grind.
Yeah, it's those automatic things that happens. Yeah,
it's easy to forget about the things you need to do.
Yeah,
and so that's what usually once a year I do planning for the. At the end of the year, I do planning for the first of the year, and I try to set my goals for the year.
Mm-hmm. Wow,
I've always done that. I write down goals at the first of
awesome.
every year, and this year is the marketing and to some of my clients, and so I like that idea of, if you can automate it as much as possible.
Right.
Make your life a little easier.
Yeah, make it fire
Yeah,
and forget.
it integrates with Buffer. You know Buffer. It's like Hootsuite.
Oh, yeah.
Social media
aggregator. Like I've got all of my social media, from Fotofacts to like LinkedIn. All of my social media, and it spits out to all at once, and you can auto schedule that power scheduler. You can click all the social media today, tomorrow, 7 days, and you can schedule all that stuff. The same post.
Well, I do think marketing is you got to take a multi-pronged approach to it.
Yeah.
Because it's easy for me. I'm probably like Jim. I like to, I'd rather sit in front of my computer and just automate everything and do it all. And I have to go meet people.
Yeah, exactly.
But that really doesn't work. You got to go meet people. You're
right.
You got to send printed pieces. There's a multi-pronged approach.
That's a good point, because all this automation and all that stuff, you're not face to face, and you got to get your face. And I've learned that just recently in the last several months. Is the face-to-face really makes a difference. I've had lunch meetings and
with that, Jim, I think you hit on a really good point, and a lot of listeners that are listening, that's great, like robust. But I think so many of us do prefer to be behind the computer, and once we're in business, we put our website up, we put our Facebook business page, and then we wait by the phone.
Yeah.
Or we get on Hootsuite, we do a little blog post, and then nobody steps away from their computer to go meet somebody.
Right.
Like you've gone. One thing I'm so proud of Jim is I actually gave him the idea of like joining the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
Now, I joined, Jim joined. Same time, Robert attended 0 coffee meetings at the Chamber of Commerce. Therefore, I got 0 shoots.
Yeah.
Jim actually attended those coffees and made amazing connections.
Yes, I did. I got some great connections.
So I think the FaceTime now is becoming... I think it's a kind of an ebb and flow, and I think we're coming back to the FaceTime.
Yes, and it goes to the even I'm holding up my phone here. Staring at your phone all the time, or your iPad. Even in restaurants or wherever you're at. If you're staring at, I'm an introvert. I don't talk much, but. I don't talk to people much.
Robert.
And thank you for coming to the Fotofacts podcast.
But if you're staring at your phone instead of that, think about back in the day. When I think about these old guys that are sitting in the barber shop, and they're not all staring at their phones. Oh. They're sitting there talking about stuff.
There were no phones back then, dude. We had the party line with a 30-foot extension cord.
Yeah.
So for new people coming into the business. General business ideas. What's the one thing you see that most people kind of fail at when they come in?
Well, you got to learn. Are you talking about for my business?
No,
just
photography in general. I'm sure you can relate to all the photographers. You have a lot of people that come and talk to you at shows.
Well, first off, you got to learn your equipment, because you cannot be. I'm sure you're well aware of this. You cannot be thinking about your equipment when you're shooting.
Yeah.
You cannot be thinking about, what f-stop am I going to use? What aperture am I going to use? You got to know that stuff where you need to be able to spin the dials on the back of your camera with your eyes closed.
And make it work.
Yeah. Right. You got to figure out how to solve problems. I always talk about photography as having this bag of tricks, a whole little Santa bag of tricks. And you probably see this, you walk up to a job, you're going, this really sucks. This is horrible. And how do I make this look good?
Yep.
And you got to reach into your bag of tricks and pull out something that makes it look good.
That's right.
And so, it's a tip or a technique. It could be a soft focus. It could be a narrow depth of field. It could be some lighting. And there's a lot of tricks. And the more experience you get, the bigger bag of tricks you can pull out to make a piece of junk look better.
Yeah, polish that baby up.
Or you get to a shoot and you've forgotten something. How many times
or your camera dies
you never admit that. If you show up, you don't have your stuff, you don't say nothing. You just do it anyway. You just make do with what you got.
It's kind of hard to hide it when your camera doesn't work. Period. Right. And you don't have a backup.
I always have backup, but
I made that mistake the other day.
I made that mistake a long time ago too.
Yeah.
So equipment's always a good one.
So know your equipment inside and out. And then the only way you're gonna do that is you got to shoot a lot. You got to shoot a lot. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures.
Oh my God! I just realized I didn't push record.
Really?
We're live and we're not getting this audio.
You know what? He's getting the audio on live.
He's covering your butt.
Awesome.
He's covering our butt.
Backup. That's what you need.
That's what you need.
Did we just not talk about
We just talked about backup.
Talk about a segue right there.
My fault.
Thank you so much. It's been fantastic.
Oh, you are so welcome. Well,
Yes, thank you, Jeff.
I got your back, Jim. I got your back.
So,
Okay.
so you have no idea how long this recording has
That's
been
what I
going
was just
on.
looking. I said, "Where's my clock? Where's my clock?" It's not there.
How are we doing on time there, Jeff?
We are at 29 minutes.
Really?
Whoa.
That's
Yeah.
freaking pretty awesome.
Okay, let's break here and talk about the PhotoCon. That's
PhotoCon, PhotoCon.
March 4th and 5th.
Looking forward to that. That's always
Yeah.
a great deal.
It's robust.
And Jeff, you have a promo code or a
Do we still have a promo code?
Yes, we still do have a promo code. The Fotofacts promo code is
The photo fact. He had to look at his iPad.
Let us
or my sticky note. Sticky note that I have here. PhotoCon 16 Fotofacts. If they go to Bedford's website at bedfords.com, www.bedfords.com, purchase a ticket, the same promo that we've been promoting with the Fotofacts. Buy a ticket, $79.99.
Ooh.
With this PhotoCon 16 Fotofacts promo code, they can get a second one at half that price. So, again, it comes out to a 2-for-1 because face value, again, is $119.
Twofer.
Okay?
So it's a twofer. So it's
Yeah,
a
it's a
bongo.
twofer, yes.
A BOGO. A BOGO.
Yes.
Buy one, get one. No, I guess it's a buy one, get one half off.
Well, buy one at $79 and get another one at half the price of $79. Get one for $40.
I think we just lost all the listeners from the Metro Camera Club.
Oh,
So yeah, that is
That
still
lost me.
going on, and still just a few spaces left for Moose Peterson.
No, you're not. You're kidding me. Seriously?
Just a few. Okay,
'Cause
so
that's
That's where you get to
kinda
go
crazy.
shoot with
It-
moose.
yes.
At the zoo.
Oh yeah.
At the
Now-
Oklahoma Zoo.
is Moose Peterson is that during my class?
I have to check that schedule, Jeff. Eric's the one that put together the schedule there. So
If they run out of Moose Peterson, they can do one with me. We'll go shoot motorcycle races. Or
Oh,
something.
that's at night.
skydiving or something.
It's
Yes,
at Moose
skydiving.
Peterson's from 6:30 to
Actually, I don't
8:15.
skydive.
at night.
It says p.m. 6:30 to
Okay.
8:15 p.m. Oh no, that's his class. Sorry.
Oh
his
yeah,
class.
that's when he speaks.
I'm on Friday, first class of the day. There'll be nobody in my class. I'll be giving this alone completely.
And your panel is James. Your
I'm
panel.
on a panel. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's
Ten-
on Saturday
Yes,
from
10 a.m. to 11:15.
11:15. Exposed. True confession
Yep.
of a
People-
photographer.
I guess they can come in and ask us whatever they want to ask.
Yep.
Why does it say by Christian and Sapphire?
Sapphire
Oh,
is.
you haven't met Sapphire?
No.
You don't know who that is?
No.
Well, you'll have to see.
Ooh,
I'm not telling.
Is this the
It'll be-
same
it's a-
Sapphire that's over at Night Trips?
No.
she's robust.
She's robust. Quite the contrary, actually. So anyway,
So
I love that. So we have a surprise for the listeners.
yes, we
Yeah.
do.
And
We
we're
are.
going to have James Pratt tell us about the surprise because you can sign up for this at the Photofacts podcast booth at Bedford's
PhotoCon
PhotoCon.
2.8.
yeah, what we're going to do is I write a lot of stories now, do my own writing, and so and the way I got started is I worked with writers. I was a photographer, worked with writers, and that's always a help. So what we're going to do is allow a photographer. I'm going to team up with a photographer to do a story, and so we'll pick out a story. It's probably something in the motorcycle industry of either a profile of a person or a race or something like that, and then whoever wins the contest gets to come with me. We'll pick a time, and they will photograph the story for me, and I'll give you some advice and tips, and then I'll write the story, and then we're going to submit it and see if we can get it published.
I think that's going to be awesome.
Wow, that's a great.
I think that's a great
I may
idea.
have to sign up for that.
Oh, what are you talking about? Sign up. I've already won.
Oh, whatever.
Robert Trevick is the winner of the James Pratt.
So we're going to do
photo
that
shoot.
Saturday night sometime at
Yeah.
at
We're
our
going to
booth.
draw it Saturday evening before. Okay, who's the last one? Is it Moose
Bruce
Peterson?
Peterson, yes.
So we should probably draw that
Like 6 o'clock.
like 6 o'clock before
Yeah.
Moose Peterson
That
starts.
sounds good. And if we get paid for it, we'll even split the proceeds. So.
Wow!
Yeah.
So you're even going to give away money.
Money, yeah.
Now this is like one of the best photo contests we've had on Photofacts podcast.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Of course, if we get it paid for. You never, some
Sure,
stories you
yeah.
don't, but we usually do. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank
gonna-
you so
we're gonna-
much. I appreciate. I can't wait to go with you.
I guess it depends on the photos too, though.
Yeah, it depends on the story and who we pitch it to and how good the story is.
Right.
But-
So it could be an educational experience, you know?
Yeah, well, most
Well, that's
definitely,
what it is,
That's
yes.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea is you can learn how to take pictures to tell a story. Because I'm going to teach you
Yeah.
what I was taught on how to take pictures. Hopefully you already know how to take pictures.
You
It's
have
how
some
to tell a
technique
story.
down
Yeah.
already.
This is how to tell a story with your photos.
I think that is a very generous offer.
That
I
is-
think that is just
That is
a
pretty
beautiful-
awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you,
cool.
James.
Good.
That's
That'd be
that's
fun.
beautiful. Okay, well,
We do the similar thing, but we don't split any money. We just always need somebody to carry our bags.
exactly.
I'll
yeah.
teach you how to set your f-stop, but you
I'm
got to
not-
carry my bags.
I'm not even going to take my camera. I'm going to.
Ooh.
Whoever's going to be there, they're going to do the.
Yeah, so bring it
So
back
there
up.
should be a questionnaire on this before we pick the.
Yeah,
what kind of
exactly.
camera do you have? An iPhone.
Yeah. All right, well,
All right, that sounds pretty good. So where can our listeners find you at, James?
It's james-pratt.com.
Well, you couldn't find James Pratt without the dash.
No, it was already taken.
Oh, I hate when that
You can
happens.
Google me. I'm all over Google.
yeah.
Just Google me.
Just Google me.
Find him on
Because
LinkedIn.
I'm very good at SEO.
Cool.
We're going to save that for the next one.
Yes, we do.
Because we need some SEO in on the Fotofacts podcast.
So that's an
I can help you
invitation.
with SEO because my wife is like I said, is a realtor, and I do all her website, and she is at the which is there's a lot of realtors.
Yep.
And she is at the very top when you search for homes around Central Oklahoma. She's at the very top, and it's because I got
All
that
the
SEO figured out. Yeah.
Yeah,
there's like
this
over,
is,
2,500 just in metro area for realtors?
yeah.
It's
So
crazy.
this is an official invitation to come back and talk about it.
We could talk in detail about
Yeah,
SEO. Yeah.
that would be cool.
I think it'd be awesome. We'll actually learn more. We'll just turn our mics off and just take notes while he's talking.
So
All right.
there's the music.
You're taking us out?
I'm taking us out.
All right. Thanks, James, for
All
being
right.
here. We
You bet.
appreciate it. And see you later, listeners.
All righty. Thank you very much.
And you're still talking.